So if you feel like the only way to keep your team on track is to constantly check in, follow up, and repeat yourself, you don't have an accountability problem. You have a cultural problem. But here's the truth. Accountability isn't about control. It's about clarity, consistency, and ownership. And until your team holds themselves to the standard, you'll always be the one dragging them toward the goal. Why this matters? Let's zoom out here. Accountability is the bridge between the vision and the execution. You can cast a big vision, you can have great goals, but if your culture doesn't demand ownership, the business will always depend on your discipline and not your team's. And that's where burnout starts. That bridge is called accountability. If you're constantly chasing people and following up on missed deadlines or secretly doing other people's work just to get it done, that's not sustainable leadership. What you need isn't tighter control, it's a stronger culture. The first step to building a culture of accountability is clarity. If people don't know what winning looks like in their role, they cannot take ownership.
Hey guys, if you ever need anything at all you got to do is text the number below and we'll be there for you.
So step one, define winning. Outcome, metrics, scoreboard. For example, let's say that you manage a sales rep. The outcome, hit monthly revenue targets. Metrics, total deals closed plus the average deal size. Scoreboard, shared CRM dashboard, updated daily. This gives you autonomy. They can see whether they're winning, and so can you, without performance review every 5 minutes. So step two, set the standard by living it daily. You're going to show up early. You got to own your mistakes and you must follow through and be consistent, not just convenient. So here's a real world story for you. A leader I coached used to stress over why her team never met deadlines. But guess who regularly pushed the meetings back, responded to Slack late, and never sent recap emails after a strategy session? Your standards are what you walk, not what you talk. So ask yourself, am I living in the behaviors that I want from my team? What am I unconsciously giving them permission to do? And step number three, you've got to create a rhythm of review and ownership. Here's where most accountability breaks down. There's no structure to reinforce it. So we need to create a rhythm when people check in on progress and self-correct. Weekly one-on-ones, progress reviewed by them, gaps identified by them, and commitments made by them. For example, let's say you have a team of creative. Each week, they report what they've committed to, share what they've done, explain any gap, and choose the next steps. This builds maturity and creates muscle memory. Accountability becomes a rhythm, not a reaction. And the power dynamic shifts. You're no longer chasing, they're leading themselves. Leadership language template. Now let's talk about how you speak accountability. Barking orders does not create ownership. It creates fear, resentment, and silence. You need questions that invite self-leadership. What's the gap? Where are we and where are we committed to be? What's your plan to close it out? How will you hold yourself to that this week? So here's a scenario for you. Instead of saying you didn't meet your numbers again, you're going to say, let's look at what we committed to. What do you see as the gap? What needs to shift this week to close that gap? This keeps the standard without creating shame. You become a coach and not a critic. So here are the action steps. Let's put it into practice here. So let's land this with clear steps that you can use this week. 3 action steps. Number 1, choose one role and define winning, the outcome, and 1 to 2 metrics in a visible scoreboard. Number 2, add it to your weekly check-in. Where did you win? Where did you fall short? And number 3, use the language template in 2 conversations this week. That's it. Simple, repeatable, and scalable. You don't need to control your team to get results. You need to build a culture where people own the outcome because they know what's expected. They see our example and they feel safe taking the lead. Micromanagement is a failure of systems, not your staff. Now you have the system, it's time to use it. And if you're building a business that scales through people and not pressure, hit that subscribe button. More clarity, more ownership, more leadership. Let's grow your team and your impact starting today.